talking and vibing and Voloskin.
We were at Veloska's. Lockhart was getting healed. Kaya was learning a little bit more about how to bandage and treat. And Calamity was giving Legacy the lowdown on what she knew about Turing Ward and the Tetsuo lab in Turing Ward.
And very importantly, Legacy was peace for Papa.
Yeah,
Papa's fine with Larry.
Legacy was making Larry dance like you make a cat dance, but also using him as essentially a voice recorder.
Yes. I do have another question. Do you guys... Did any of you note down that you have air hypos?
Lockhart used to have some, but I think they have
Yes.
been used or gifted to Bengetti, one of the two.
One was gifted to Bengetti, and Lockhart used the other one.
And that's all the air hypos that we have acquired.
And Kaya has first aid kit plus 1 to 2 med kits. I have written down. I don't know what that means, but you told me, you gave me that, so I don't know. I was hoping you would know what that means.
Are you sure I didn't mean, or are you sure I didn't say plus 1 to use medkits?
No, because it was a collection of us getting shit from Veloska over time.
Didn't we give that stuff back though? That's what I thought.
Some stuff. But again, Kaya's been collecting for a long time.
Legacy has never touched any of the medical supplies because people just keep giving her weapons. Every time Legacy acquires something, it's somebody giving her another weapon of here, this will protect you, you can defend yourself. The only one she's used is to stab fucking the jackass in the brain.
Used to commit a murder.
So just note down, instead of 1 to 2 medkits, instead of I'll just hand wave it and say you have 2 air hypos.
Okay.
Air hypos take your wound level, whatever it's at, and knock it down 1.
Who has the air hypos? Sorry, I got distracted.
Kaya.
Me?
Yes.
Does she still have her first aid kit for doing first aid stuffs?
Yes, that is a separate thing.
I'm gonna erase the fucking confusing plus 1 to 2 medkits thing, because I don't know what the fuck that means.
I was saying to replace that with air hypos.
Yeah. I'm just gonna erase that, because that's still on the same
How many uses do air hypos have? Just 1 apiece?
Just 1.
Okay.
Plus 2 air hypos. Parentheses, single use. Plus 1 for heal 1 wound.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, first aid kit plus 2 air hypos, parentheses, single use, heal 1 wound.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna put my plate away.
So does Legacy get any good information from Calamity?
Yes, I'm going to wait for Amy to come back so that we have the note taker, but
hey,
I will info dump you. I'm not going to do the Calamity voice for the info dump because it will be too clunky for me to not say it in DM speak.
She's impersonating this guy she met on the street named Joe.
Yeah, some random dude. His name's spelled J-O.
Some Joe Schmo.
She doing everything she can to keep on task right now because she's fucking bored because Lockhart won't let her watch the fucking healing.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, so we have the party, we have Veloska, we have Sprite, Cal, and Marcus, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So just want to clarify everyone in the scene.
Because Bengetti was already taken home, and JJ has gone home, and
Cosmic
has no idea what the fuck's going on.
Cosmic. Cosmic probably saw the like, hey, we're going to the bar to meet her friend. And he was like, okay, cool. I have like a gaming tournament, and then finds out later what happened.
Yeah, he's gonna be bummed out about it, but he won't complain too much.
Oh.
Again, this was not supposed to happen. This is fucking Lockhart and Sprite's fault.
I would need to hear Legacy explain this to Cos when he's like, you guys went into a bar fight without me. It's okay, I guess.
Also, number one, like fucking, you want to be involved in shit so you can shoot people. 99% of bar fights, you don't shoot people, you just punch.
He would end fights very quickly.
Wouldn't be a fight.
Yeah.
It'd be a murder.
No, you could make a non-lethal shot. Just shoot him in the leg,
We gotta get him rubber bullets.
We could.
or like a taser.
Can we get him rubber bullets?
Or
Rubber.
a fucking guns that shoot pepper spray bullets.
As someone whose spouse just got fucking OC sprayed last week.
Yup.
Yeah.
Has he had to go through the gas chamber yet?
I don't think so, no. He had to get OC sprayed.
So,
Sorry.
if you are ready, note taker, I will give you the info dump for the Turing Ward info breakdown, which will include an update on the weirdness around the laboratory.
Alright, give me a second. Let me set this up. Let me see. Calamity Turing info dump. I'm gonna put this in bullet point form.
Crack the knuckles.
Crack the knuckles. We stretch. Take a sip.
Make sure you're not slouching.
Fuck you, I do what I
Iris.
want. Alright. I'm just gonna go ahead and move this mic over here so I can tell you to stop.
Mhm.
You guys are gonna hear my typing. I'm not sorry.
That's totally fine.
Alright,
Ready?
hit me.
Okay. So, first things first. You get info from Calamity about an update regarding the laboratory that Lockhart and JJ visited. The area has been cordoned off by police. No drones, none of the security drones came out of the building. So there's not like robots wandering the streets, like kind of looking for people to fucking shake down or attack or whatever. The building has been like police taped, but it is not, at least as far as the like lowdown from Calamity's guys can tell, it is not like patrolled. There's not like a squad car parked in front of the place with cops watching. In addition to that, there's also no return, or seemingly no return, of the current owners, who I believe is the OFI.
Orbital Freedom Institute, right?
Correct. Were there any other questions you had about that place in specific? Because those were the questions I remembered.
Those were the ones that were the questions that they wanted to go drive by the place again to see.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask those to Calamity. I was like, Calamity has people there, that's fine.
Well, I mean, Legacy probably would have asked that stuff, like just in general. But that's where it came from.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, she has more questions, but I think those are questions that she'd have to get back inside to do.
Gotcha. Okay. Iris, if you have any questions, I can't hear them. Because you're muted. But I'll assume you'll unmute and yell at me when you do get them. Let me go here. So, yes.
Oh, this is irrelevant. Don't worry. I was closing out my tabs, and there's a video of a baby whale shark eating bubbles.
Aw.
From scuba divers. I have to share. Enjoy it at your leisure. It's so cute. Anyway, closing out this tab now.
What was I saying? Right. So for Turing Ward, you were going to get some info from Calamity about the Tetsuo Experimental Laboratory that's in Turing Ward, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Some
So-
information about that, information about kind of the standard general Turing, like security and shit that might be in that, like in the block or two surrounding.
Mm-hmm. So general security is the general vibe is that security from place to place is more privatized. Police don't roam around there in nearly as much of a frequency as they would in like Voyager or something. I'm not gonna say it's like the Wild West, but it is closer to the Wild West than you would expect, or than anywhere else on the station. So on a general level, the buildings there are like the construction of that part of the station is built in kind of like sectors, where you have a sector of buildings or properties that are all owned and operated by one corporate entity. And those buildings, even if they are, they're usually distinct buildings, like with a distinct block on the street, but they are built and constructed a lot closer together and a lot more tightly compacted. And then
Essentially
you will
making
have
different
break.
office parks.
Yeah, and you kind of have like what looks like a collection of these parks that are all kind of crammed in together. But there are, I mean, you've probably seen it in an action movie somewhere before, but you've seen the action movie trope of being in the neighboring skyscraper to shoot a zip line to a different skyscraper and zip line across.
Yeah.
Like, the buildings are closer together than even the sort of moments you see in those action movies. Also, this is where most of the tallest buildings are. Both like in a sense of they go higher above the base floor level and also lower below the base floor level. There's a lot of sub-levels to Turing Ward.
Okay.
The sub-levels weave into, I mean, for lack of a better term, they weave together almost like a dungeon. They are not necessarily interconnected, but there's less property regulation below the base level of the Turing Ward. So sub-level property regulation is kind of fucky. So you'll have you'll have buildings where instead of building like a straight up and down pipe, you will have let me do like a quick.
It'll look more like an
Cool.
anthill underneath.
Yeah, so you'll have like tall building above the base level here, and then sub level it will end up like kind of growing out or making weird shapes. You'll end up getting fucky stuff like that. And because of that, if there is another building on another block, they will use whatever space is available. So it ends up looking like some kind of freaky Tetris puzzle.
Okay. So, just confirming, because this is what I was paranoid about and why I keep mentioning, like, general security. There's not, like, as far as they're aware,
Mm-hmm.
because I know there might be surprise shit, but as far as, like, Calamity and Ghost Protocol and everything is aware, there's not just, like, random, like, turrets or some shit that's just gonna, like, pop up on the street level, because this is, like, the business confidential ward.
Correct. The only time that you would expect to see, like, defense turrets would be inside a building.
Okay. So there might be security within a particular, like, business or office park, but that's once you get past the gate.
Yes, and to give you an example, I'm going to use a little blackout screen here for a second. Hold on. Did I fuck it up? Did fuck it up. I'm gonna stretch this. Cover up this GIF for a second. Sorry, GIF. And I hate how these drawings connect. Okay. Here. So something to note would be if, for example, you are looking at the front side of a building and there happens to be like a recess to it. Like, for example, and there's like front doors here, and then you have street side. So if there is a recess in a block like that, which it has happened, there are occasions where the buildings are designed like that to be like corporate, neo-corporate chic, right? In this case, there may be a turret that would pop up here in that area, but they're not going to be out in this public space. Like, there won't be turrets out here, but on the corporate property lines, there might be defenses. That is the only kind of hair splitting that they have seen.
Okay. So if we're going, like, say we target the lab and we're going to the lab, technically, unless there's just hired security that's patrolling, we don't have to worry about like hacking shit and like fighting shit until we cross over that line.
Correct. Like that line is like the
salt line
edge. Yeah. It is like a DMZ when you are not across that line. Everything up to that line is technically free game and you're allowed to walk there, and that's public area.
Cool.
But the corporations are very, very staunchly defensive of their corporate line drawing.
Cool. Sorry that I'm being so like nitpicky.
No,
it's helping me conceptualize what we might need to work on.
Yes, that's totally fair. And like the corporate, like the part of this is kind of working around the nature of like, all right, if you are seen by security, they're not going to shoot at you like a drone, for example. A human might just break protocol and be an asshole. But a drone or a turret or an automated defense system won't shoot at you until you go across the line. They might notice you're there and aim at you, but they will not fire until you cross that threshold.
That also technically, correct me if I'm wrong, gives an opportunity to utilize that back and forth between the companies of like we go break into Tetsuo and let's just say like across the street is Ogremok, who is a competitor.
Yes.
And we run from I'm assuming like you run from Tetsuo over to Ogremont, that might cause Tetsuo's shit to pause and think for a second.
Correct. That is very true, because even in that case, even humans would have to give hesitancy, because once you start crossing one border into the next, that is dangerous territory, because if shooting starts over those borders, that is legitimately going to that is a legitimate cause for what would instigate a corporate war, or at least a corporate fight.
Okay.
The lines that are drawn in Turing are very, very precisely drawn for the sake of, like, they're almost like different countries that are all like pressed right up against each other.
Are the lines of are the property lines for Turing something that is like public access information, like you can just like go to like fucking town hall and get it, or is that a little more questionable?
It's on a technical level, you can go and access that information. In the same way that you can go and like Google what corporations are on what city blocks and streets, like you can find that information, but you would not be able, like there won't be as a definite point. Like, for example, if you were looking at this from a map, like a top-down map of some kind of block, and you had, one building and then another building, and then there's just like street. The lines that you're talking about, or the lines that we're talking about between like the corporations, are going to be delineated mostly by the streets on those public maps. But if you're in there, like standing there in person, the line might be like at the bottom of these stairs, or it might be at the top of these stairs, and you have like technically like a 10-foot kind of leeway where there's no physical line drawn, but it has to be around here.
Gotcha.
You can firmly, very, very firmly, without any ambiguity, know that the streets, those are 100% public, like government public controlled areas, and the corporations do not have ability to, or like the lines have to stop at the street. It's just a matter of if they start at like right up to that edge. Most corporations do, because they want every last like little drop of square footage, because it is such a like precise thing to get in the station. It's such a precious thing to get in on the station. But like, there could be slight variations in what you're gonna see from defense equipment. But you will always be safe if you want to run into the street, because damn near every security company that is working, or every security force that is in Turing, knows that if you are killed in the street, literally killed in the street, that is going to create a whole legal fiasco. Let alone killing someone who jumps from one corporate border over into the street across a different corporate border.
Okay.
And this sort of street demilitarized zone phenomenon is also why there's not many patrols, because the corporate borders that exist, technically the government can oversee this entire process, but I mean, it's not a far stretch to be like they're being paid by the corporations to look the other way and just ignore what goes on. So there isn't really a reason for them to patrol, because these borders are so tightly like controlled and very, very precisely guarded. That the police aren't going... if somebody crosses a border, that corporation is probably going to deal with it. There's no reason to get the police involved. And also, the police don't want to end up crossing the border because that can cause bad blood between the corporation and the government.
Gotcha.
And in most cases, that would end badly for the officers who crossed the border and less badly for the company.
General understanding of Turing down. Got it.
Yes. So that's the general vibe of Turing. The next big thing would be
Hold on.
Tetsuo, like the
Give
actual...
Amy 2 seconds to finish her notes.
Yes. Actually, give me 2 seconds to run to the bathroom and come back. I can't talk while I do this now.
What's up? What?
Wipe the body.
What? I'm not running the session.
Do it anyways.
No. And even then, no.
What is the devil on your shoulder trying to do?
Wipe the party.
Mhm.
I just lifted up my headphone while I was typing. What was the next topic?
Now we're going to talk about the Turing Lab specifically. The Tetsuo Turing Lab.
Okay. This wall of text in the notes.
Sorry, but I needed to ask the very specific questions.
No, it's good to know.
So I had to go AFK for a little bit.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I heard Joe say something of like, Iris has any questions. Could someone explain to me what that was about before
He
that?
was explaining some of the base information of like what has happened to that building, that lab that you went to. In like the 48 hours since.
Yeah, what happened?
It said like they're like none of the security bots left the building. There's not just like random like murder bots wandering around. It was cordoned off, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, it was. And it was police taped up. However, there's no squad car outside. There's no patrol going on there. And there's seemingly no return of the current owners.
Mhm.
The Orbital Freedom Institute.
Yeah, so he was just saying if there's any more information that you wanted about that. Because all the questions I would have would be things that realistically we'd have to get back into it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. The only other like question I guess for that would be like, is there any type of surveillance that they added or anything like that? Like how hot has the spot become, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am now picturing, though, the running away from the Turing Lab being just like, okay, find the nearest non-Tetsuo big company and run like hell to get to that building instead.
Okay, we're selling Girl Scout cookies. Like, hi, we have an Uber order. Just come prepped with a bunch of fucking pizzas in the car. Being like, hey, this is the pizza party for the quarterly review. You guys did great. Where can I bring this to?
Yeah, Jim ordered a whole bunch of pizzas.
Yeah, we have a fuck ton of coffees.
There's no Jim here. Well, who ordered these pizzas then? Like, dude, I can't leave here without speaking to Jim.
Why are you trying to deliver pizzas to the person that doesn't exist and you have a black eye and a bloody lip, ma'am?
Look, some people really want their pizzas, okay?
I don't know what tab I just closed, and I'm slightly concerned. Oh, I remember.
So, side note, like completely random off topic, that video I sent earlier of how to eat chicken wings actually works. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
The smashdown method? Yeah.
Yeah, you take one of the little bones out and then you push.
Yeah.
And you just suck off the bone.
What?
You heard me.
Talk about eating the flats in hot wings.
Oh. Huh.
I didn't
did
think
not
it would
see
work.
this video. I'm interested in this secret technique.
It's in the TikTok central.
Ah, okay. I will check it.
Here,
Bet.
I'll at
Later.
you. Yeah.
It's like 10 seconds of just eat wing fast as fuck.
I don't need to
So-
eat my hot wings any faster than I already do.
Fuck hot wings. It's barbecue.
Still, I
Barbecue,
don't need
good.
to eat them any faster. Even though I don't eat barbecue wings. I eat hot wings only. I'm picky about barbecue sauce.
Fucking love barbecue. Anyway.
Did you
Anyway.
hear Iris's follow-up question to the lab that Lockhart broke into?
Well, you were asking about if there's surveillance.
How hot has
Added
the hotspot
for-
become?
Yeah, added surveillance.
Added surveillance.
Ah.
Yeah.
So, I didn't mention this before, but I will mention it now for clarity. There are flying drones that patrol, or not patrol. Sorry, there are flying drones that
Hold on.
navigate-
What section is this about? The lab or just general Turing?
This is general Turing.
Okay, general security. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So, in Turing, it is not uncommon to see flying drones, because airspace is a lot more difficult to control. But most often than not, these drones are not done or are not used for surveillance. These are drones used for transporting small packages or goods of some kind. There are maintenance drones, like occasionally if a window needs to be replaced or if an antenna is out, there are like kind of small remedial drones that will repair them. So there is technically air traffic, though it is small. What is not, or for the lab that you visited, the OFI lab, there does not seem to be any new surveillance in place. If there has been any new surveillance put in place, it's been very, very subtle and hard to track. But it does not seem to be the case. It seems to be that the police showed up, they saw that there was a break-in, they saw that this building was owned by some corporation, and the general gist of the police in Turing Ward is don't fuck around the border too much, just do the bare minimum and leave.
Mhm.
So they gave it a little police tape, crime scene, do not cross stuff, and then they fucked off.
Well, this isn't our problem.
That is exactly the vibe of the police in Turing Ward. Because the corporations take care of themselves. And they don't want to get on that. None of you would know this in character. But none of you would know this for sure in character. But there have been suspicions of police being let go as a result of mucking around with corporations in that area. It's one of those things where it's like police are taking hush money maybe, or there's like some kind of corporate government collusion that's going on, and as a result the corporations are like upset when the police cross that line. So even though this building is seemingly abandoned, the police are still not willing to cross the threshold. They do not want to cross it, at least not for very long, and not without very good reason. And once they are done, they skedaddle.
They don't want to fuck around and find out.
Exactly. Additionally, as I mentioned, abandoned buildings, there are abandoned buildings in Turing Ward. It is difficult to tell which ones are abandoned and which ones are not, except to fuck around, because most of these buildings are opaque and windowless. Even the ones with windows are difficult to parse and see through. Generally, people are on the street, like walking in and out of buildings at the early hours of the morning or the late hours of the evening. And outside of that, the sidewalks and the streets are pretty sparse. And the reasoning is, by and large, because of those very, very strict borders between corporations. Like, I mean, if you work as a scientist in one of the labs in Turing, and you get a lunch break, where the fuck are you going to go for lunch? Because you're not going to cross into a different corporation's territory, so you go to the cafeteria in your building. So generally, the only time you see people on the sidewalk, in the streets, or going to their cars are at starting time and quitting time, which varies between 6 to 9 a.m. and around 5 or 6 in the afternoon to 8 or 9 at night. That 12-hour window.
Very precise.
Yeah, it's kind of like starting at 6 and ending at 9 a.m. and then going till 6 p.m. and ending around potentially as late as 11 p.m., but usually people are done and out by 9 p.m.
Wait, can I get those times again? Like,
I'll write it down.
Thank you, because
yeah.
the way you said it was really confusing.
Yeah. I'll put it in military time, so it's unambiguous too.
Okay. So I'm just like,
We'll
this.
do 12, 18.
Just in general, though, like, we don't even really need to know the times. It's just more of a early or late.
Yeah.
Because the times are so... There's such a wide time range, there's really not a point to knowing the time.
Yeah. It's basically sunrise and nighttime.
So it's those 3-hour windows.
Yeah, that's generally when you'll see people walking on the street.
Okay, so... Thank you.
Moving on to Tattoo Lab.
Yes.
Give us spill the tea, Cal.
Okay. So, for the Tetsuo Turing Ward laboratory, the experimental laboratory, it is very, very clearly one of the more heavily secured areas. There are visible turrets that sit within the property line, of course. Let me see if I can draw a very, very roughshod sketch. do them of these. So it's gonna be kind of. Well, that's a terrible start. We're just gonna fuck that one. So you will have, and we'll do street. The bulk of, do this actually. Oh fuck! I want this line right here. This comes down a little bit. Use multiple colors here for the sake of pointing out things.
I imagine Cal is drawing this on a napkin.
Okay, so it's fucking Fort Knox in there for real. So here's the gist, and we're gonna move this down a little bit. So, oops. That's your property line. So everything on this side of the yellow line is Tetsuo property. Everything below the yellow line towards the bottom of the page, that is public property. That is the street. The red denotes any sort of guard station or guard post. Things to note. Or go. You were saying what?
I'm taking a screenshot real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Things to note. This is like the frontmost entrance, I say in quotation marks, because this is where the like deliveries and like technology and whatever other shipments are brought into the lab. But the bulk of the lab, like all of the stuff that exists like behind it and to the side of it, I will do a quick top-down sketch too. Actually, let me see, can I? Cool. Yeah, so we're gonna do a top-down sketch.
Alright, I'm just gonna delete this. Sorry, I keep writing down your half sentences that you don't finish. I'm like, let me just delete this.
That's fair.
So yellow's a property line, red are guard posts.
Yes, or turrets. They are
Guard posts or
points of security.
Turret points of security.
So I'm assuming the big red box is like the security like office, essentially.
Yes, that is the front posted like security office. That's where you'll see guards walk into and walk out of. There's
the small box is like the security post where you check people.
Yeah, the security post right here, yeah, that's where they would check your ID and let you into the lab from the
And-
vehicle.
And then the little circles are the turrets.
Yes, these are very, very large, high-caliber turrets. So from the top, if you scroll down here, that little, like, ramp thing, that is this. So the building, the Turing Tetsuo Experimental Lab is a block of 4 buildings. You have this, and this is not to scale, like obviously the ramp is a lot shorter. So I kind of fucked up the drawing, but whatever. This is the quote unquote front, in that there will be vehicles coming in and out of here to deliver things. The bulk of the rest of this is all assumed to be laboratories, because the bulk of the rest of these buildings are like the skyscraper-sized, opaque walled, like business areas. And there are doors, as at least in this front portion here, and some in this back portion here, for single employees to walk in and out. But there are not posted gun turrets like there are here. And I will draw a little. So you have like turret. You got your little guard post. You have your checkpoint. And then I'll do a little.
Moving up the ramp towards the building. Sorry, I'm taking a screenshot of this too to put in the OneNote.
Yes.
Oh, fucking, you're not done, mother.
Be patient.
Yeah. Sorry. Also,
I thought you were done.
Point just to clarify again, this ramp here not to scale.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
just a rough idea.
Yes.
Again, this is on a napkin. It's not to scale.
Yes, and this is also not to scale, but there are 3 points of entrance for employees, or rather, at least one is the better way to phrase that. There are at least 1 entry point on each of these additional buildings. There's at least 1 back here on the northwest or northeastern wall. There's at least 1 for the northwestern wall, and there's at least 1 for the building adjoined to the side of this, like, delivery import kind of ramp area. Okay. Are you finished typing and catching up with that? Because I'm going to ask for rolls now.
Okay. So all I have here is clearly one of the more heavily secured areas. Visible turrets are within the property line. At least 1 entry point in each of the additional buildings. I have a screenshot of the first diagram of yellow property line. Red are guard posts or turrets, points of security. Red box, security office. Small box are security posts where they let people in and out, check IDs. Circles are high caliber security turrets.
Yes.
Okay. So the second one, am I getting a screenshot?
Yeah. With the
Okay.
green doors on it? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Second one, what I've got for that one is top-down view, arrows pointing up towards the ramp towards the building. I'll put in parentheses, not to scale.
A.
Green, at least 1 entrance to each building on the property.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's all I've got so far. Am I missing something?
No.
Okay.
So what I will ask for is a roll from each of you for different things. Legacy, roll me a hacking check, or actually first, Kaya, roll me an engineering check. Lockhart, roll me a threat assessment, but don't add any melee modifier to it. But you can use your, instead, your like corporate bureaucracy bonus. I think you have something like that. Office worker.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Does this have to do with? Sorry.
No, you first.
I was gonna say, does this have to do with station infrastructure?
Yeah. I think that would work. I think that could count.
Hell yeah! So I get a +1, and I get advantage from her station worker origin.
Mm-hmm.
Which is engineering.
Yes, and Lockhart, you were saying?
What stat would you want this to roll off of? Like, still tough?
I would probably say clever.
Mm-hmm.
Still. But I will give you advantage on this one as well, Lockhart, for the fact that this is Tetsuo security that you're kind of going over. Like, for most things, specifically Tetsuo, you, like, having been there, have insider knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
To some extent.
Okay.
And a 12. Okay. So, Kaya, you with a 12 you're not like up to breast, or up to snuff, kept abreast, whatever. You're not like the most up to date on defense equipment in terms of like guns and actual armaments, but you as a station worker and being very, very close to a lot of the kind of the guts of some of the station buildings, before they become well used by a corporation, you are aware enough to know, like, okay, the turrets that are here, there's two things that jump out of you, or two things that jump out at you. The turrets that are here, they're going to be very, very potent, but they're probably not used all that much because they're right at the borderline. So and you know that they're not going to shoot out here. They are probably posted there mostly as a threatening sort of put your best foot forward kind of thing. Like, this is a show of force. This is like, you know, a fuck around and find out sign posted on the front step.
So you'd say, sorry, I had to double pack to restructure something. So I got,
Yes.
they're going to be very potent, but they're probably not used all that much. They're right at the borderlines and aren't going to shoot into the street.
Yes.
More of a show of force?
Yeah, this is more of a show of force, like an intimidation tactic, probably.
Okay.
They are probably still guns because the like Tetsuo can afford to put actual guns there. But they're not, quote unquote, tactically placed. The other thing that jumps out at you immediately is, from the sketch that, like, from this rough sketch that you get from Calamity, the building here is shorter than the other three. So this building that has the inlet garage is shorter, whereas these other three are skyscrapers. So to you, this building is probably going to be a sub-level building. This is what's going to be your building that connects to the below ground area and spider webs out into whatever weird sub-level configuration can't be seen.
Okay.
Cool. Lockhart, from your time at Tetsuo and your general understanding of the security measures they take, These two security measures here, those are pretty standard. You have a checkpoint for people who are coming in, or for people who are making, or you have a checkpoint for people who are coming in making deliveries and going to the sub-level. And then you have this guard post that is conspicuously out front, also probably a show of force, but you would know, like, that's going to be where the fire ants are kind of maneuvering around a lot. They're not going to be as on edge, purely because, like, you've seen fire ants. Not many people step to Tetsuo and threaten Tetsuo. And you can kind of tell because fire ants are generally pretty lax. They just it's very much the type of vibe of, like, they are so well equipped and so surrounded by one another security people in this area that is quote unquote heavily secured, that they don't really feel like anyone would try anything, so they're probably just going to be putzing around in there, playing cards, eating food, just kind of letting the day go by.
The ego is getting the best of them.
True. Yes. And you've seen them enough to know that they are pretty ego heavy. But the building here, it's not an armory per se, but they might have maybe like a spare weapon. They might have taken helmets off, or have a spare set of armor, or maybe a spare like jumpsuit or uniform for security wear. This would be where a few elements of their like uniform or garments or other sort of accoutrements would be. For example, if you wanted to get a disguise. You could also probably assume that the security on the outside of the building, like if there were any cameras or anything that monitored the outside, there might be a station in here that allows them to see through those cameras.
What's the likelihood? Like, I don't know if this is something Calamity would know, but what's the likelihood that there is a way to get into the building through that little security house? Like an I don't know, like a basement, like essentially like basement walkway.
Oh, so like there's inside of this little building, there is a basement that goes down and in?
Yeah. Specifically for like security, essentially.
Your Calamity wouldn't know, but your knowledge of Tetsuo, and just your understanding of most security measures, you could hazard a guess. It could be there, but putting a number to it is difficult.
Yeah.
But
okay.
there could be a stairwell that leads to a sub-level in this building.
Just my thought is like getting security into the building quickly,
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Yes. And then for Legacy, well, I assume you're also all sharing this knowledge like openly with one another, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I imagine this is a
yeah, Legacy was asking Cal and like talking very openly in the room, and so I imagine Lockhart and Kaya would not be able to stop themselves from chiming in.
to be fair, as soon as there's fucking technical drawings involved, Kaya's attention is there.
Perfect. So Legacy, hearing about the security tent setup and the turrets here and all that shit, go ahead and make me a hacking roll. and I will let you get your anti-corporate bonus, if that applies. I haven't figured out if that's a talent, right?
So I have one talent that just gives me a bonus to all things dealing with Tetsuo. That comes from my origin.
Yes.
And then I have a talent, which is the Don't Be Evil, which gives me a +1 to, it says, take a +1 on all hacking and social roles made to infiltrate a cartel corporation or another corporation of similar size and scope.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's technically +2 if it's Tetsuo,
Mm-hmm.
if you're considering this infiltration.
I would consider for this particular role, it's more of like a hypothetical at the time.
Okay. So I only get my
But-
Tetsuo bonus and not
Yes,
the
just
other
the
one.
one. Just the one for now.
Okay. And I'm assuming I don't get hacking suite, so it's just straight hacking.
Yes, it will just be straight hacking plus the +1 from Tetsuo and your clever check. And you're clever.
I'm gonna spend a prep.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Jesus.
Okay. So with a 19, you know that you don't know for sure because you haven't actually like done this specific thing for it, like be in Turing and test it out against these weapons or whatever, but just from your experience, you're wagering that these turrets, they might not be able to be hacked remotely from outside, but once you get inside, they are more than likely connected to the security frame and the network inside the building, potentially inside this office. And you could either disable them or like get them to retarget something. You could start to access those weapons. Generally, from how people set up their networks, especially corporations who want to have both a secure network but also a very, very easily accessible network, you would wager that the security cameras and these turrets, if there are any security cameras, they would probably be linked together on the same network. So once you can access one, you could probably access the other. And just as a freebie, inside this booth is probably the way to open that gate. But inside this booth, there might not be a connection to the turrets or the security cameras. So just to clarify, let's do this one. So like these potentially connected. This potentially connected. Thing. Make me, Lockhart. Make me another roll similar to what you just made.
Okay. With the advantage as well?
Yes, because I'm thinking that as you are hearing this information, the thing that sticks out to you that you would be very familiar with, or at least would ring a bell for you, is these other doorways that were mentioned, like these other places to get in that for employees specifically. Super common, especially at Tetsuo. To typically have like an employee card, you swipe it, it'll scan your thumb, or you swipe the card, then you scan your thumb, and then the door opens. You've seen it 100 times before. They're super not uncommon. Damn. So
they're very recognizable.
Yeah,
That's a crit.
I will tell you, without a doubt, unequivocally, Tetsuo has very, very good facial recognition. Bleh. What they typically use it for is they have to get close to the person to get a good facial scan. So what they typically reserve their really, really accurate facial recognition software for is for entryways, because you have to walk right up to the door to get in. So you could stake your life on it. These doors, they probably go by the typical standard of employee key card, which has a picture of your face on it, a thumbprint scanner or fingerprint scanner, and then a facial recognition camera that may or may not be visible from the door, but when you scan your key card, it will use a digital version of your picture and try to match it to your face. And that is how those doors work.
So it's not recognizing to a database, but to the card.
Yes, and the assumption is that if it can scan the card, you must be an employee at Tetsuo.
Okay.
Sorry, how do I phrase this? My mind is blanking. Facial recognition scanner may or may not be visible from the door.
When it scans your face, it's not accessing a Tetsuo employee database. It is scanning a card to get a picture off of it, so that it can digitize the picture and match it to your face.
But the thumb reader, I'm assuming that's more tagged to some kind of database.
The thumb reader would be tagged to a database, and Legacy, you can make me a hacking roll similar to the one you just made.
Okay.
Okay, so with an 18, you've seen this type of security before. Especially being Chaos, you have definitely kind of worked around and through this type of like preventative measure. Thumbprint scanners are looking for a pattern recognition. They are also typically working on a photo recognition, but they are taking a picture of your thumbprint and comparing it to a picture that they have in a database. So the assumption is that if you can scan your card and get a picture off of it, and it can scan your thumb and compare it to a picture it has on file, you must work at Tetsuo. Now, typically, with the thumbprint scanners, the way that the photo recognition works is it will take a picture and then code the image, where it takes each, like, it is basically going pixel by pixel and assigning a value to it. You don't have to get the notes of this, Amy.
No, I'm just trying to like conceptualize. I was like, okay, I've missed all of this. I'm just gonna wait and then summarize it.
Yeah. The gist of it is Legacy knows that, or Legacy could probably bullshit a way to hack through the thumbprint scanner.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it takes a picture of it, scans your thumb, and then converts it to a number, and then it compares that number to a number in the database. So your workaround, Legacy, would be to get it to spoof a number so that it has to recognize one in the database.
Okay.
I will also, I don't know if you guys all remember this, but above table, Neon did leave you all a few fake IDs.
True. Hey, Lockhart.
Huh?
You want to work for Tetsuo again? you got lots of suits. You've got the I'm important and tough. Don't look me in the eye walk to you.
I will also remind you, above table, Ben Getty has accessed a Tetsuo database through a backdoor without using a hacking method.
Yep.
Man's cheating.
He has the developer codes. He has access to the developer's room.
He's cheating.
He has an old set of keys.
Doing it the fucking easy way.
Oh boy.
But all of that information is the cumulative summary of what Calamity was able to pick up. Calamity and her like other compatriots who work alongside her.
For her little birdies.
Yeah.
Alright. So that's everything. I'm gonna go and fucking use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Piss time.
Mhm.
That was really chill music.
Kind of
Is
making
it?
me sleepy.
Oh, hey, the fucking Cyberpunk patch hit today.
Wait, today? I thought it was
What?
next week.
No, that's the DLC.
Oh. Whoa. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Too many
Tomorrow's
good
Friday,
games
tomorrow's-
all at one time.
Tomorrow's Friday, tomorrow's Friday, tomorrow's Friday.
There's another, I forget what it is, but there's another game coming out in November. That's gonna be like a big, huge RPG that's supposed to be really good.
Is it Thaumaturge?
No, but that one is coming too.
I want that game real bad.
I guess I'm never finishing Baldur's Gate then.
You have to, though.
I want to.
What about your beloved vampire?
Exactly. That's why I want to.
It's gonna be so lonely.
This tactic of manipulation is working very well.
I know you, Iris. I know it works.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
What are we rolling Iris for this time?
She's like, I guess I'm never finishing Baldur's Gate because Cyberpunk is getting patched.
What
And
about your vampire boy?
see?
Uh,
Exactly what I said.
Okay. I got snipes. Fine. Fine.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move all of.
So they are three separate but interconnected buildings, not any type of like courtyard area or anything like that, right?
correct.
Okay. So that we have a better idea of how to get into them potentially now. However, I'm just gonna do it fucking in character. Never mind. Why am I about to say shit above table when I can just say it as Legacy instead?
Always the fun way to say things. Okay. So, after the info dump.
Technically, Maxine could help us with this too.
Pressing play.
Maxine?
Yeah. Didn't she also kind of fuck around here?
She was
She
invited
has
on a
been-
tour.
Oh, she was invited. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was invited as a part of like a corporate thing.
A corporate
okay.
friendship outing.
Yeah. So like she technically has been inside at some point. However, she does not belong there, and I imagine she would probably get shot at a lot faster than most of us would if she tried to show
No.
up because she's an ogre mock person.
I meant more of like get info on how she did it, but I didn't realize it was a tour. Because I know she said something along the lines of like, yeah, if you wear your lab coat, you you look like you belong essentially,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and that's how she snuck around. But I didn't know she was part of a tour. That was my bad. Forgot that.
Yeah, she was able to kind of wander away from where her corporation was being shown around because she wears a lab coat and was able to just kind of, oops, I'm over here now.
Because this is not going to make Lockhart happy.
Oh boy.
So like you just like process, sit back, listen to it for a second. Well, now that we see how big this place is and all that fun shit, not to mention what we don't see from the outside, we need to get some idea of what is where in what building before we set foot in that lab.
Calamity kind of shrugs and sits back on the couch. Just goes,
Well, can't help you there. I have not been inside.
So I'm gonna regret asking, but did you have an idea in mind, Legs?
Well, the only place outside of the lab that would have any information about what's going on inside the lab is headquarters.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Marcus just like sits up and just goes, were you gonna ask me to try and sneak stuff?
Well,
Because I can try. I can try.
I mean,
I
couldn't we-
still think probably the best idea is to try to get me in and out, ideally. I love you dearly, my dear sweet Marcus, but you are not the stealthiest person. I'm not either, but I can cover my tracks.
Mm. So I'm guessing, are we like doing this before Gigadeath, or are we like using Gigadeath to get in? And as Kaya is like saying this, I forgot, she's in Lockhart's chair, in Lockhart's recliner, because Lockhart's on the couch. So she has taken the recliner, and as she like is speaking, she's pulled out a little marble notebook, and she's just sketching in it and scribbling on it
Do you
as
realize
she's speaking.
every single one of your characters has a notebook?
Yeah, it's
'Cause
the
I have
thing. I'm the note taker. I like scribbling shit down. Okay. The difference is that like they do different things with the notebooks. All right.
Here's
And
Wow, literally every character, huh?
I
Yep,
didn't.
yep.
Wait, is it every character?
Literally.
Yes.
Wait, is it actually every?
yes, that's why I pointed it out, because you've never said that Kaya scribbles shit down until now, and
No,
now
she's
you've
not
officially
taking
made it
notes.
every single one.
No, she's not scribbling notes. She's just like Kaya's the kind of person that
Doesn't
she likes.
matter. This is the first time you've dictated that Kaya is taking out a notebook to do some shit, and now it
It's not
officially
the
makes
first time.
every character.
It's not the first time I've done it before. It's just first time it's noticed, I guess. She likes multitasking, and so right now she's like schematics shit while she's talking.
Here's what we do for Amy's birthday next year. Even though she only takes notes online, each one of us claims one of her characters and buys a notebook for Amy. That is that character's vibe.
I don't think I even own a physical notebook right now.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Notebook's good.
Shit.
You're gonna get like 10 notebooks next year for your birthday. Happy birthday.
Shadress does not have a notebook.
Yet.
Yet.
I thought she did, but you might be right.
She doesn't have a hobby that like writes shit down.
But
Although I could see her like doing like leaf rubbings.
yep, that's what I was thinking. when she decides she wants to learn some more shit, outdoor shit from like Sola instead of Shillelagh. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna start like I don't want to sketch out the plant. I'm just gonna rub it into do a charcoal rubbing really fast.
All right. Well, enough bullying aside.
Tasks need to be herded.
All right. I didn't. Why the fuck am I getting sniped here?
Hey, we just sniped Iris, so it's your turn.
All right. Well, it's Z's turn next.
Good luck.
But I was just trying to add flavor text to what she's doing. I was told to do this more. I was literally told. It's in the notes. I don't even know what she's. I don't even know what I had her say. I don't remember. It's gone.
It's asking whether or not we were doing this before or during Giga Death.
Okay. Yeah.
Regardless of what we choose, hitting the headquarters might actually be the best option. Before we go to the lab.
Legacy slowly looks over at Lockhart.
Lockhart is looking at the ceiling.
Just, you feel the new hole being burned in the side of your head. She stares.
She's looking at the ceiling.
Goes from looking at Lockhart to looking at Kaya and then turning around looking at Marcus. And she doesn't say it super, super loud, but you can see her kind of like mouthing the words. I told her, I fucking knew it.
Kaya is just thinking, I think I'm missing something here.
Just shakes her head. She's being as gracious as a legacy can manage. Well, if we're going to the headquarters, that adds one more thing that we need from them while there. We need.
What would that be?
Well, first off, the reason we were talking about to begin with was information about. Oh boy, it's been a long time. What are the projects? Hex Project?
Next project.
See if we can find any white pages or anything like that on Hex Project. Or on Jonathan?
Yes, Jonathan Diego.
Or Jonathan, or fucking Lindis. Anything that I would need to be in the actual servers for, or slipping into any of the libraries for. Now we have to add blueprints or layouts or some concept of this lab. Because with as big as this space is, and I can only imagine what we don't see from the outside, if we're going for one or two very specific things, we have to know what direction to go, otherwise we're not getting there.
Yeah, those things are fucking labyrinths as soon as you go below the surface.
Oh boy, I don't really know where that sort of information would be stored, but I mean, we can certainly give it a look at corporate.
Well, my first instinct, it would be maybe the less secure bits that I could scrub easy. Well, it would be plugging in and trying to grab employee records, because we could make educated guesses if we can find that, you know, whatever scientist is working in this building or on this floor, you know, fucking robotics is not going to be what we're looking for the most part.
Joe, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Where was Bengetti's lab?
In headquarters.
His lab was in headquarters.
But like physically where in the building?
So the corporate headquarters also has sublevels. His lab was on sublevel 2. There are 3 sublevels to the headquarters.
Sorry, wheels are turning. Give me a sec.
Mm-hmm.
No,
For
you're
all
good.
of us.
Yeah. I mean, probably also be good to look into any renovations they did. I mean, there's going to be a paper trail for that if they hired any contractors out.
Well,
That's a good point. They
to
would
be
also.
honest, some of those contractor agreements would be things that I don't necessarily need to get into the headquarters to start getting. Could probably use your help for that, Kaya.
Probably.
What was
Yeah, I
Marcus
could
saying?
probably call up, never mind.
Problem.
Never mind.
We'll figure it out later.
How uncomfortable does she look?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like Kaya is constantly of like 10's being completely casual and 1 is being not. She's usually at like a 7. I feel like right now she's dropped to like a 4.
Marcus, like, seeing that something kind of irked the Kaya, he just, ooh, like, eyes go to the ceiling, away from the Kaya, just doesn't want to accidentally push a button, make things worse.
She looks more like awkward or embarrassed than pissed off.
Meanwhile, Legacy's like eyes narrow, locked on target. Did you piss somebody off, or did they piss you off? It's looking more like you pissed somebody off.
I mean, I don't think I have. Not yet.
Yet? Yet? What does yet mean?
Well, I mean, I could talk to Remember Bastion? I could probably talk to him about it.
Uh-huh.
I can just, call him up.
Why are you making that face?
I have a face. I can't, do nothing.
Kaya. Why are you making that face?
He might not be too... He might notice something and not be happy about it, which is what I'm a little worried about, and that's probably gonna be another fucking lecture.
Yeah, there was... Yeah, like, even Marcus, his curiosity has kind of grown from being around Legacy. He just reflexively is like, notice what? If you don't mind my asking.
She's very pointedly not looking at anyone. She's very interested in the schematic sketch she's doing. She's just fucking shading in something. He's just typing out numbers. She pulls out a fucking calculator, an old school calculator, and a protractor. Where the fuck did those come from? Like, just something, and I mean, it'll be fine. I could just talk to him and ask him about it.
Calamity leans over and just goes, "Is that a TI-87?
Well, yeah.
No, nerds.
It's Legacy a cool calculator.
Legacy will get up and walk. Calamity's still sitting away from Kaya, even though she is nerding out, right? So she just walks over to Kaya and as soon as Kaya lowers her eyes to the sketch again, Legacy leans forward and just kind of twists her head up so she's looking up at Kaya, bent over halfway, head in the way of drawing.
Legs, I'm trying to put in differential equations so that...
What?
Remember what we talked about a while ago in the apartment?
Yes.
that. She's probably not gonna be happy about it. So, I mean, it's fine. I'm just gonna go through another lecture, probably.
Okay, above table, what are you talking about? Because I thought I knew and now I don't think I know.
Kaya, the drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mm.
She kind of like straightens up and kind of fixes her hair for a second, kind of thinking. Because Kaya has continued to drink even though Legacy has annoyed her about it. Or has she stopped
Yeah.
again?
She's on and off. It's very much a pendulum of when she gets really, really stressed, drink or two, but she tries to not. There's been a couple of days where she doesn't, but then after like 3 or 4 days, she gives in, and she has a couple of drinks, and it's just this cycle, essentially.
So Legacy just kind of like straightens up and kind of runs her hand through her hair. It's kind of considering Kaya for a moment.
And Kaya drank that night. She had a drink at the bar.
He had 3.
Yep.
3 doubles.
Mm.
If you're this nervous about talking to him, maybe you should, to be honest.
Glare. She's just not like a glare, but just like a hey, you know?
You just get this very pointed, like, fucking, I have given you lecture. What do you expect?
Yeah, I'll call him tomorrow.
This Bastion friend of yours, was he a coworker?
Yeah.
Larry
From your
chimes
previous
in
job.
from Legacy's chair and just says, "He's very big."
She nods. And Kaya just looks at Lockhart. Is like, yeah, we worked with me pretty closely, actually.
So, then he owes you.
Well, why would he owe me?
Well, I mean, he still has his job, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, but
So it's the least he could do.
Lock, I told you it's a different situation. All right, it's complicated, and look, I'll call him in the morning because it's late as fuck o'clock.
Oh. Like Legacy goes back to her chair, picks up Larry, holding to Larry again as she sits down. So, calling Bastion to start working on trying to locate contractors for this lab. Were you trying to add something, Marcus?
Oh, I was going to say that, I mean, there's probably a paper trail, because Tetsuo, I mean, they have a lot of resources, but they are not a, like, construction and logistics agency, so they would have had to reach out to someone to do their building, or at least they're moving, or something. Like, even if that building was there, even if it was a structure that was originally grandfathered in, they probably did some expansion work, so Kaya's probably right. Larry holds up both hands, partly of his own volition, but also partly because you are playing with his arms, Legacy. But he throws up both hands in a big cheering motion, just goes, "Because she's a hypocrite." No?
Kaya is gonna look right at fucking Lockhart.
Lockhart is still looking at the ceiling.
The glare.
Your head feels hot, Lockhart.
She feels very, very hot.
Lockhart has high enough threat assessment to know when someone's staring at her.
Yep.
What?
Nothing. It's nothing.
Oh, secret car conversation. Larry covers his mouth with both hands.
Kaya face palms.
Lockhart actually turns to look at Larry. Then to
Larry
Kaya.
Larry looks at Lockhart and waves. With one hand, his other hand is covering his mouth.
His not mouth. He doesn't. His little LED screened mouth.
Legacy, you feel a bump on your elbow as fucking Sprite moves over. Yes. Sorry, I'm struggling with all the names.
It's okay, it's
Sprite
okay.
moves over and like elbows you, and they say, "Dude, do you think they just fucked in the car before they came here? They took a long time."
Head snaps around.
That's a legitimate question.
Who? Sprite? You have problems.
Well, listen. I see something that you don't. Okay, don't yell.
Larry whispers, "Secret."
Lockhart looks at Kaya while that's going on and is all like, "You should teach your son to be quiet."
The face palm slides from her forehead to like under her chin as she like props her head on, like resting on her palm. As she rests her elbow on her knee as she leans forward in the chair, looking at Lockhart. Be quiet. You're welcome to try. Go ahead.
Larry is not going to learn to be quiet or be taught to be quiet because Auntie Legacy needs to know shit that you two are clearly not going to tell her.
Hey, Larry, Legacy, you feel like two tiny little hands flop against your mouth. And they're not like pinching you or very aggressive, but like it's like someone does the shush with their finger, but with two little metal hands. And you hear from below your chin, "Secret conversation."
The information wasn't that important. If it was, you would know.
Yep. What she said.
Lockhart rolls her eyes at how not suspicious, or how suspicious Kaya sounded.
Legacy is just like looking from fucking Lockhart to Kaya to Sprite down to Larry back again. Like, I see how it is. I see my place in this group right now.
Well, Legs, you're being overdramatic.
Couldn't we get back on topic?
Yes, please.
Marcus, have you been down to the sub-levels?
I've been down to sub-level 1, but not for very long. Sub-level 1 is where he kind of perks up for a second, and he looks at you, Legacy, and says, "Sub-level 1 is where they do all of their cybersecurity prep. And I think the security office is also on sub-level 1, or at least part of it."
Legacy kind of like looks up at him. It's like you see the gears turning again. If we play our cards right, I might be able to convince them. Well, technically I am a cybersecurity expert, and that is my day job.
I could probably. I mean, I know one or two people who work in the cybersecurity office, but they're not really high up there. But I mean, they would be able to talk to the CSO, and I could probably convince them that maybe there's reason to call in an out-of-network freelancer. Maybe. Especially, he snaps his fingers and points at you and says, especially if there's a breach. If there's any sort of vulnerability that they don't know about.
Like a back door they forgot to close.
Yeah, for the first time in, I think, ever, you see Marcus, in a very, very bizarre turn of events, have a slightly mischievous look to his face.
Legacy is kind of like lifted a hand to her mouth. It's kind of like sitting back and like thinking, and she sees that like mischievous look and smirks. You're starting to get it.
He does immediately, like the kind of evil, mischievous glint in his eye disappears, and he looks suddenly like very confused and a little worried that he did something wrong. He's like, "What? What'd I do? What am I getting? This is a good getting, right?"
Definitely
No.
a good getting.
No, it's not.
Don't listen to them.
Nah, you really should. Because this is how it starts, you know. And the next thing you know, you're refusing to eat anything besides ramen and Red Bull.
I eat more than ramen and Red Bull. I just
Yeah,
don't
because
cook
they'll
it.
fucking force you. How else are you gonna fucking eat it?
Takeout.
Larry points to you, Kaya, and just goes, "Hypocrite," and then points to you, Legacy. "Hypocrite."
Is that your word of the day?
Block, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
So it is your word of the day.
In what context did you learn hypocrite, Larry?
Apparently Lockhart called Kaya a hypocrite. Context clues.
And Juniper.
Juniper? How did that come up, Juniper?
We're not. Why the fuck are we talking? We're talking
Kaya?
about how to. What? What, Locke?
Get him to be quiet.
Larry, there's like if a tiny machine could sweat, the tone of voice sends electrical shivers down his fake, not real spine. He covers his mouth again.
Legacy just pats him on the head.
Hey, Larry. Bud.
Nope, you're not taking him. He is actually behaving. I'm learning this shit primarily by the two of you talking, because you won't tell me.
Larry,
He
you
puts-
mind if you just, shrug it?
He puts his hands on the side of his head and just goes, "Am I a hypocrite?"
No, you are being good.
Do you know what hypocrite means, right? You have a dictionary. And he just blinks and then looks at you, Kaya. And you can tell that the thought is processing in his head, but he's also thinking about a lot of things. So he doesn't
Don't.
actually respond to Marcus.
Just say, Larry, would you mind just not talking about
He
the car ride for a bit? Just.
he throws both arms up, and there is a cheer on his face, like he would be throwing his hands up and yelling something heroic, but there's no noise. And he brings both of his little hands down over his mouth.
Yeah, just not about the car idea, alright?
Lockhart what is your current like mood and or emotional state?
Defensive. Where's descriptive words?
Is it like I would assume probably embarrassed?
Defensive is a nicer way of putting it.
So,
But yes.
Would
She's defensive
vulnerable...
because she's embarrassed.
Yes.
Okay. Move to a new GIF.
Oh, screen change.
Yeah, move into a new GIF. But you feel a little defensive and possibly a little. I would describe it as being too seen,
Yeah.
too perceived.
That's a very good way of putting it, yeah.
If you want to, give me, if you want to keep your emotional state a secret, I need you to roll a cool check for me.
Joe over here, like, give me the drama. Give me the soap opera right now.
Well, Sprite is watching this exchange like a hawk, and Sprite has a very high cool.
What? I don't have anything to add to this. And because it has been a very long day, I'm not gonna boost this. Yeah.
So, give me a single sentence describing how Lockhart feels about let me see.
These constant detours in conversation.
Yes. How does Lockhart feel about these little detours in the conversation that seem to focus on her and Kaya?
Nervous. Like, she's trying to focus on the mission part of everything, right? But the little derailments have been making her a bit more and more nervous as with each outburst Larry has given.
Okay.
Like you said earlier, she feels very seen and kind of vulnerable, to be honest.
Does she feel at all angry or mad at anybody? Or at least at Larry?
Yeah. She has an edge to her tone when she, told Larry to be quiet, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the full-on pissed off, but it is the threatening, the usual threatening vibe,
Mm-hmm. And is the threat, this is the last question I'll ask you, is the threatening aura you are pushing towards Larry, is it earnest? Would you back up the threat, or is it an empty threat?
Lockhart wouldn't hurt anyone in the party. This is a fact that even she realizes.
Okay.
But she is, like I said, she feels kind of vulnerable with this, so...
She might snap at him, but she's not going to throw him.
Yeah.
As Good
Okay.
luck trying to harm the Larry.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Lockhart liked Larry. She did. Thought he was kind of cute.
Oh,
Now he's gotten a little too smart for her tastes.
Yeah, gotten a bit too big for his britches.
Oh no.
Let me see if I can find the GIF.
Meanwhile, Legacy's over here realizing that she's got a spy for all the tea.
But yes, that is all of the questions I have for you right now, Lockhart. You
Okay.
do feel the sort of pressure in the room. It's a little awkward, but Larry has been quiet, and Sprite chimes in at a very weird and somewhat convenient / inconvenient time to say, so we were talking about something about getting some info from a guy who worked on the infrastructure with you so that we could figure out how many floors in this place there are, and then we were going to get some info on the headquarters, yada yada, secret back
Yes.
door.
Yeah, Kyle fucking latches onto that shit like a fucking lifeline. Fucking tears her eyes away from Lockhart to look at Sprite before she turns back to her notebook. It's like, yeah, I can call him tomorrow. I don't know, see if I can meet up with him even, see if she's got anything, knows anyone about any renovations that they did. Marcus, you know if they did anything recently, like within the past couple of years?
At the headquarters?
Yep.
No, I don't think they did anything at the headquarters very recently. But, well, maybe in the past few years. I think they may have done a restructuring of one of the higher floors.
Okay, because typically when companies do shit like that, if they restructure the headquarters at all within the next year or two, they do some shit with any outlying buildings. Something about contracting a contractor for a couple years, but in like rotating shifts from one thing to another. And I just know that a lot of the contractors have their contracts roll over into the next one. So if there was renovations, then might be a small chance that there's a couple people who worked at both.
I'll see if I can ask. I don't think that's too weird of a conversation topic to bring up.
I don't know.
We'll
Talk
see.
about. I don't know. If you need a topic to talk about, you can bring
If
up.
there's one thing I know, I am pretty good at water cooler talk because I have to be.
Oh yeah, cool.
Sympathetic pat on the knee. Lockhart, why were you asking about the sub-levels at the headquarters?
That's where Johan and I work.
So his lab, I'm assuming, was below the security floor then.
Correct. Sub-level 2. I was wondering if I was wondering how they may have changed since then. Perhaps we could have gotten information from there.
You think that his lab might still have something worthwhile?
I mean, he worked with Joseph Diego himself, so...
Okay, well...
I don't think it's too out of the question.
Looks towards Marcus. And do you know where they might be keeping any of the white pages?
A lot of a lot of what we work on ends up being completely digitized, but I know there's a corporate library, a digital corporate library that they keep. That's on, I think, the second floor? Not the sublevel, the second floor. If there were hard copies, I imagine there's probably a hard copy library somewhere. I've just never really looked for it. I'll see if I can find it.
If you can get an idea of where it is, then we can know. Well, figure out how many places we need to hit in the headquarters and try to reduce the number as much as possible.
It's a grocery list.
Well, it's a grocery list, but most of what we've talked about thus far, at least in my experience, are things that are not buried super deep. Except for information on the Hex project, which I have a sneaking suspicion is going to either be on some physical drive that you have to pick up, is not going to be accessed, or is going to be in a white page.
I imagine if they had anything on the Hex project at the HQ, it would probably be on a printed white page kept somewhere pretty locked up. That way it can't be hacked, and if they lock it up tight enough, it won't be stolen. But if I'm just looking for renovation documents or anything about the Turing Ward lab, I imagine there's probably someone in accounting who just has it sitting on a thumb drive somewhere, or sitting on one of their hard drives somewhere.
Probably.
Well, as far as trying to get in, we need you to find out a few things for us, Marcus, but for deep diving into the digital databases of the HQ, if I can somehow manage to get into cybersecurity, well, no, I shouldn't say that. I need to talk to Bengetti.
Is this a good to talk to Bengetti or a bad to talk to Bengetti?
It depends on your perspective.
Can I ask why you want to talk to him? Like,
Well,
what do you need?
Number one, he can probably give me an easy way to cause enough of a stir in the cybersecurity of HQ that it wouldn't be too hard for Marcus to drop my name and my card, and with any luck, I can get brought in. That being number one, and number two, well, if I can get in, I'm not going to be able to get everything while I am in their cybersecurity floor. Not while I'm being watched. But I can leave a back door for me to get in later. And if I'm getting in later, I need to get in and out as fast as possible. Which means, depending, best option might be full dive.
Well, if you do get a back door that you can access later, and you end up getting into the full dive, maybe... is there a way that maybe we could upgrade it so you don't have to navigate through the net to actually get there? So it's like a straight connection? I don't know
Not
if it works
unless
like that.
you plug it straight in.
Could theoretically try to work on a kind of a homing thing, something to kind of direct connect, but it would have to be physically there, I imagine.
If you're in the full dive and you are somehow able to navigate to where the headquarters system is, would it have to be directly into the security area? Or do you think you could navigate just from the head?
I'm sorry, what are you asking?
Basically the idea I'm thinking is like have like a USB or something, have Marcus plug it into just a basic computer at the headquarters.
That's what
and use that as
That's what she was kind of talking about, having something physical to.
Oh, so rather than plugging it into like the security officer's PC, you were saying plug it into anywhere and then assuming that you could navigate to wherever you wanted throughout the company.
Yeah. If you can get to the building, you can, find the room you're looking for, kind of thing.
It would depend on what the security looks like once I get an actual look on it, number one, and number two, depend on what I could come up with. I fully admit that my tinkering skills as far as actual items does not extend very far beyond what I've done to my own cybernetics.
What would you need?
Well, I can get you a list if we can get into the HQ to begin with. I'm sure I can find something on the dark web, or hell, maybe some of the shit that Hijack was using as a base for you to mess with.
Okay. Yeah, I could probably do that. I just gotta. Are you sure, Legs, that you. Shut the fuck up! Freaking email. Shut up. Shut up. Stop it. Fucking. Okay. Are you sure you wanna do this, Legs? Other than, like, go into the full dive? Like-
Well, I mean, it will make you better at hacking, right?
Theoretically, from what Ben Geddes told me, both. With what a little I've been able to work with Cosmic on hacking. Outside of that full dive, he's a hacker now. But he's...
good for him.
He's not going to be shaking any big trees down. But in the full dive, he gives me a run for my money. So if I get in there, theoretically, well, I don't know. Look, this is why I need to talk to Benghetti. You've already done your, safety once over on it.
Yeah, and I made it as safe as I could. But there's still a risk,
Well, there's fucking risk to me walking on the street.
Yeah, well, this is different.
Well, it is her specialty. Marcus kind of says that and turns to you, Kaya. And it's not like a defensive thing he's doing, but it's kind of like a confidence thing. Like, he has confidence that
reassuring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. All right.
And there's also a risk of her going into the Tetsuo headquarters themselves physically.
If you give me a transponder or whatever, like a thing to plug in. I'm sure I could pull that off, probably, without too much issue. At the very least, I could plug it into my own machine.
No.
I am going to. We don't know this for 100% sure, but if we're talking about theoreticals and what may or may not happen in all of this, Marcus, you do realize that if we go for HQ, this might be the point of no return for your job with them, right?
Uh, I mean, sure, maybe, probably.
Well, it's not even. You may not actually be caught. Hopefully, you won't be caught. Ideally, you won't. But after we do a deep dive into the headquarters, it may just not be safe for you to go back anymore in case they connect you.
That is a good point.
It would also be suspicious if you suddenly disappeared after all this.
Well, what are the odds that I get caught after the first, I don't know, real moment of rebellion? I guess to call it rebellion? The real first moment of rebellion?
Well, I mean, Locke's got a point. If you just, up and vanish immediately after shit goes down, they're gonna start looking at you.
But
I could play
we
cool.
also have a way to possibly work around that. I'm gonna need you to go to dinner with my mom at some point soon. If you start talking up the fact that you're thinking about another job or you have another possibility, it won't be as suspicious.
Right. Put in your, what? Month notice? So over 2 weeks, give yourself more time.
He holds up a hand to protest and then kind of deflates a little bit and just goes, "That is a good point. It's a good point. Oh, that's gonna really upset my boss.
Well,
but that doesn't really matter, I guess."
just, you could start shaking the tree of the water cooler talk of you've been thinking about other things. You don't have to put any official notice in anybody right now. But if the office gossip is that you are looking outward, then, might be helpful.
Huh. Yeah, what if you tell him that you got an offer? And it's, an offer that's too good to be true. Isn't that a thing like office people do where, they get an offer and if their employer doesn't match it or do better than that, then, go with the offer?
Maybe. I mean, at the very least, it's not unheard of to play the field, right? So...
Definitely not if you were... to be frank with what I've seen of what you're capable of with the arms that you've made. Well, you're more than skilled enough to be headhunted if somebody really wanted to. You just don't mention that it's a clinic.
There's also the option of getting fired for something completely different.
Intentionally get myself fired?
She just kind of shrugs. Maybe you want to take some more vacation time than they want you to. Doesn't have to be anything crazy.
He looks a little queasy at that, but not for the reason that he was worried about getting fired. It's more for the reason of, oh man, I'd have to be such an asshole or do something so intentionally stupid to get myself fired. And the thought of doing that does make him a little queasy, because you would have to go through the intense awkwardness of being lectured.
Several times over.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
Legacy like makes a face at that suggestion, as like opens her mouth and is like, "Ooh, that would end up with you. Nope. Like looks up at like Marcus, sees his face. I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna shut my mouth. It's gonna be quiet.
Well, or wait, what were you gonna say?
You don't want to know."
He looks more concerned.
I mean, I don't think that's the best idea, considering that if he gets fired for some shit and shit goes down, I mean, it's possible that they look at him, maybe think that he's retaliating in like revenge or some shit.
Last resort.
Yeah, last resort.
Ideally, this is not going to be a problem, but it is. We're getting to the point where, well, we're fucking with the headquarters for Tetsuo in planning to break into one of their most top secret and secure labs. All of us are going to have to deal with the fact that we're going to be putting things on the line that we didn't want to. Jobs, she like points to Marcus. Physical health, points to Lockhart. Friends, points to Kaya. Brains, she points to herself.
There's a pause when you say brains, and you can see Marcus like go to ask a question, and then Calamity interrupts him by just saying like, "Hey man, I'm already on a list. I don't fucking care."
That's good to know, I guess.
Yeah, but you're
But
fine. Don't worry.
I feel like as many people as possible should like keep civilian status.
Hey, I'm still a civilian if I'm not arrested.
I don't think that's how it works, but okay.
Oh, I'm going to do my best to continue to hide everybody's identities and involvement as much as possible through all of this. However, well, the more I have to deal with some other shit, the less I'm going to be able to worry about or have other hackers worry about keeping everybody's faces and names out of everything.
Do you think we should enlist that one hacker?
Longview?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of kept every one of you off the grid for the highway fiasco.
He might be useful for headquarters, dealing with headquarters. I would have to try and reach out to him. I don't know how much he has on headquarters proper, and it's not to mention whether or not he's been contracted out again.
So, phone calls to make tomorrow. What? Phone calls. She like puts quotes as she looks up from her notebook. Like, I know. I have a feeling They don't like talking on the phone.
Oh, yeah, getting to Longview is going to be a chore. But I can do it. It's not, I will need money if he says yes.
I can help with that.
She kind of looks over at Marcus and blinks. Oh yeah, I do. As much as we talk about you working for Tetsuo, I do forget sometimes that you work for Tetsuo.
I get paid pretty well. He scratches the back of his head, kind of embarrassed.
Considering the fact that you don't have a roommate, yes you do.
Yeah. I also don't have any student debt.
What?
My
He's
mom
got-
paid for my school.
He's got fancy parents.
You don't.
Which is also why he shouldn't purposely get fired, just saying.
Yeah. Where'd you go? If I can ask, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I technically went to MIT.
Ah.
What?
And there we go.
You see Calamity's fucking floored at this, and Sprite leans over and is just like, bro, you're dating a dude who went to MIT and doesn't have any debt and lives alone? What the fuck? They gesture at you with both hands open, palms upright, in this kind of shock, how?
And Legacy, kind of for a moment, you can see the gears turning where she doesn't react fully of am I going to be proud about this or am I going to be offended about this? And then she looks at Marcus and then looks back at Sprite. Oh, I genuinely don't know. I think we're both confused about that. For various reasons.
I'm a little confused in a happy way, but also what about MIT is bad? Looking at Kaya.
I mean, it's not bad, when'd you graduate?
A couple years ago. He scratches his head. 5 or so years ago.
Okay.
I can't help but feel like there's some context I'm missing.
School rivalries. School rivalries, my friend.
Yeah, you say that, and Sprite chimes in and just pats Marcus on the shoulder and just goes, dude, you're getting fucking jocked on from nerd culture.
Kaya, he's just shrugs. He's just he graduated from MIT 5 years ago, is what he said? What a coincidence. She just shrugs. She's like, yeah, I graduated from NYIT 5 years ago.
Oh. Well, congratulations. He scratches his head. He, for the life of you, does not seem to be aware of any school rivalry. If there is one, he is just completely oblivious to it.
Stares at
and
Marcus.
I'm just making one up purely because Kaya was on the college baseball team. So if there is one, she would have it.
Legacy just stares at Marcus for a second and slowly looks over to Kaya. Because Kaya went to school on planet.
She did. And
Yeah.
she went to school on planet for the first 5 years, and then the last 3 were online.
She looks over to Kaya. He didn't go on planet, so
Oh.
yeah.
He scratches the back of his head and just goes, yeah, I went to the actual university that is here. And he gestures down to point to the station.
Oh, I went to the, gestures up and away. Gestures to Earth.
Yeah. Hand wave into the sky.
Yeah.
Lockhart, you hear Veloska. Nobody else hears this, but Veloska just like you hear the slight scoff and just goes, "Okay, for rich kids."
He said college kids?
No, he said fucking rich kids.
Oh.
Rich kids? Kaya? What the fuck?
I know, right?
He's just assuming, like, because you went to a very, very highbrow school on Earth, he's just like, you must be rich, not figuring out that you probably got a scholarship of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Or might still have a shit ton of loans.
Mm-hmm. What were you saying, Iris or Lockhart?
Oh, just, I know, right?
It's like, but Kaya is just like, yeah, oh, okay, cool, because, like, yeah, that explains why you're confused. Look, anyway, you don't have any fucking.
We're getting some context to like some more world building here of there are very few college rivalries in Grand Cross because there's just not enough colleges for that shit.
Yeah, there's
You
really not.
You might get interward high school rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but on Earth it's still the same shit, and Kaya was on a sports team, so of course she's got that in her. But he didn't go to the physical school, so he doesn't have it. He's just confused. He's like, yeah, that makes sense, but you seriously don't have any fucking loans? This is bullshit.
He
Complete
kind of
fucking
shrugs.
bullshit.
My mom offered to pay for my school so long as I kept my grades good, and I did not want to. I mean, I was gonna try to get good grades anyway, and you can see him kind of like going into this thought process of being like somewhat apologetic for his kind of try-hard brain.
Legacy just like shakes her head. It's like, you don't need to apologize or feel bad for having fancy parents and using them.
Calamity from the side just goes, yeah, bro, you're still prole. What do you make, like $2 billion? No.
If you say you do make $2 billion, I'm going to have many questions for you and many demands.
He just like smiles and shakes his head like, oh no, I do not make that much money. Also, prole?
Proletariat.
Is prole... Oh. Did you think that I thought that I wasn't? And Sprite just pats him on the shoulder again and just goes, just let it go, bud. You're doing fine.
Anyway, so yeah.
Might I suggest we get back on topic?
Right. Reconnaissance mission to headquarters?
Well, we never answered this, but were we doing this during Gigadeath or not?
I can do reconnaissance first, before Gigadeath, and then we can decide what we want to do during the concert.
Depends on how fast we can manage to... how fast Marcus can manage to get the information, how fast I can get into the building. So if we can get it handled fairly quick, then we can possibly, well... If we want to get to HQ before the lab, there's no way in hell that we're getting to the lab until after Gigadeath has come and gone.
Lockhart sighs a bit, but nods. I kind of figured as much.
We'll make the most of the time then, and we'll see how far we can get in and around HQ before anything goes wrong, and we are found out by Tetsuo and have to run.
Though, theoretically, no matter if we're going for HQ before or during Gigadeath, the little bit of creativity, we can use Gigadeath to create enough of a distraction that might be beneficial even after it's done. if Cal here can, and Sprite, can rile up and shake enough trees.
They both, in unison, show you a truly villainous smile.
If we make Tetsuo, or even all of the big companies, paranoid about things, about more mass movement and crowds, and not the infamous Ghost Protocol terrorists, we can use that to our advantage later.
They haven't named it was Ghost Protocol. It was just a group of terrorists, right?
Yes, it's only been
Yeah.
named like terrorist, but she's just saying that like to be more specific at the moment,
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
because they will probably still call like a rioting group of just average Joes terrorists.
Mhm.
Oh no.
How much do you hate those phrases, Joe?
Oh, average Joe?
Yeah.
That's honestly, I hate more the fact that baby kangaroos are occasionally called Joeys.
Occasionally called? That's what they're
Okay,
called.
that's what they are. Yeah.
I prefer to call them baby kangaroos.
No, they're Joeys.
Stop it. They're baby kangaroos.
That's what their actual name.
Stop. Stop.
Oh my god.
And
Why are Joes like this?
shut up.
If we are hitting the headquarters during Gigadeath, I think we should try and get into Diego's office.
Are you looking for something in particular, or do you just want to, I don't know, tip his coffee over?
He
You
was-
say tip his coffee over, and Calamity just goes, "Yeah, fuck shit up."
I mean, I'm pretty sure if the concert's loud enough, they'll do that for you.
That is the plan.
Diego was paranoid enough to go on the trip with his brain to personally pick it up. I can only imagine he'd want important information like that close to the chest or close to him physically. It's just a hunt.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, if you're wanting to get to the office, that means that somebody's going to have to be actually inside the building.
Preferably a couple somebodies.
Yeah, we're not sending one person.
Well, if we're talking about me needing to possibly be in full dive, I'm not gonna. I can try to help with security systems, but I'm not going to be physically there at all. Kind of hard to walk around in that thing.
Yeah.
Looks to Kaya and Marcus.
Kaya like just looks up from her schematic and she kind of just closes the notebook. What are you thinking?
I don't have a plan yet.
But you've
But-
got an idea.
But having multiple people in the office could help. Well, in the building could really be beneficial. If we can hit multiple points at once, so that way if things were to happen, you know, they God, I'm having such a hard time wording right now.
It's okay. She's tired.
The point is set multiple fires,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't know which one to go to, kind of thing.
Well, the issue with that, like above table,
Mm-hmm.
is Legacy would, as much as Legacy is obsessed with trying to get information to take Tetsuo down, if you put all three of you physically in the office, she is going to prioritize doing her damnedest in hacking to help.
Mm.
So she will not be focusing on getting information. She's going to be focusing on security and systems and lights and all that type of shit.
So we try to get Longview to help her with that. Because if he can cover us, then she can focus on getting information.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you could try to get the Roundtable Boys.
That's true. Assemble the squad.
Yeah, I will say that if you get all of the Roundtable Boys and I can't fucking remember.
Hijack?
Hijack.
Yeah, Hijack and the Roundtable Boys.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the group of them would be roughly equivalent to Longview in terms of their capability and like breadth of skill.
And if Legs is in the system already in the full dive, she can just open the door for them, right?
True.
Or at least show them with a back door, right?
And we also haven't factored in Vengeti's personal backdoor, you know?
Exactly.
Also, just as we're meta talking about this for a second, this is a question to... Hold on. Well, no. This is a question to Joe.
Yeah.
For prep shit. Not prep as in prep, but like preparatory planning. So Legacy has a reason Legacy has not gotten caught as far as her identity found out is she has the combination of the facial Rex Obscurer and the Laughing Gal, which is a talent.
True.
Would she have the cake? So like the facial Obscurer is supposed to be like odd makeup and haircuts and subtle electronic devices, which is what I'm just saying her visor is. That help. You could spend a prep or something, so that essentially facial recognition software can't be used on you. But you can still, like, your face is still on the security camera. Would she be able to try and make a facial recognition obscurer and maybe make it a little bit stronger, like leaning towards a Laughing Gal for like a one-time use type thing?
What I think would work would be like making in the same way that you would have a fake ID, making a fake face. A face that corresponds to something, but isn't your face.
It's almost like at least on the software camera side, when you look if like Lockhart's wearing it and faces the camera, it's almost like a hollow projection of a face over hers.
Yes. Yeah. Lockhart would look at it and it would interpret that as someone's face, and it would be almost like a deep fake. It would be like a deep fake, except you are transposing an image of a face that does not exist onto Lockhart. So you could use it to correspond to some data that you have prepared, but it would, in the long term, if someone was trying to track her by that face, it would come up empty.
So that would be something that would be possible to try and work on?
Yeah, I think so. since you have the Laughing Gal, it would take a little bit of like
Reverse engineering.
reconfiguring and reverse engineering, but you could definitely repurpose the tech behind your Laughing Gal and make it do something like that.
Okay. Just add that to the list of things that Legacy wants to like actually work on their free time. As she can try to make at least one of those to slap onto somebody if there's people physically going inside for a heist.
Okay, what is it called? Try to make at least one of the...
Laughing Gal face substitution
thing.
thing.
What'd you say, Iris?
I said
Deep,
tech.
deep fake sunglasses.
Yeah.
Deep fake sunglasses?
Because that's the only like for Legacy with how her brain works and like her trying to this is her doing engineering shit and a little bit of software shit, which is a little outside of her wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like you're getting a pair of glasses or a visor. Your choice as to which one, but that's what it is. And I'm assuming, knowing at least Lockhart's styles and Kaya's styles, both of them would choose sunglasses over
Yeah.
a cyberpunk visor.
I feel like, yeah.
Lockhart would wear aviators because she's a
Yep.
boomer.
Yep.
I'm so upset that didn't get more of a rise out of you.
Yeah.
I mean, truth is truth.
Hi,
Okay.
Rolo.
Okay.
Can I just get the normal person sunglasses?
I could see Kaya wearing aviators too.
I could see Kai wearing aviators, or those
I didn't want to say
like-
it.
I could see her wearing like the gunner shades.
What are gunner shades?
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Fucking Clark Kent this shit. The fucking blue light protection glasses?
No, I think I'm thinking of a different thing, but
Okay.
I don't know why the word gunner came to mind. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
But anyway,
Anyway,
that's
second topic.
what Legacy would be trying to, or that's on Legacy's list of things to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Legacy's kind of like has settled pretty much in her seat, and she's not even like really like making Larry dance anymore. She just has Larry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess this is about as much of a plan as we can try to make right now, at least until we get some more information.
Yeah, get the phone calls, see who we can tap on, get involved. Should I ask Rat if she wants to, I don't know, do something? I feel like if she does, it's gonna not be subtle, but it's gonna be, like, really potent.
You know, Rat and Cal might actually get along really well.
You know, like, is that somebody's like handle? Is Rat like a fucking scuzzed out inventor or some shit?
Yes.
She like raises her eyebrows and looks very satisfied and just goes, nice.
Cheese might want.
Your aunt is a scuzzed out inventor?
I mean, she's a mechanic.
Tight. Okay.
and I mean, I don't know how to explain it other than like Gadget's existence.
The fuck is Gadget?
Can
Don't
Legacy have
laugh.
a picture of Gadget?
Has Legacy met Rat?
I don't know.
Maybe sometime in the past, I assume Kaya went to go visit Rat, and Legacy brought Legacy to introduce her.
Yeah, it was in a while.
like,
There was
not-
Gadget.
They don't know each other well at all. But I do want Legacy, like, that meeting, as soon as she saw Gadget, like, fucking done. Don't need to talk to Rat anymore.
Saw Gadget. She's like, yeah, so Legacy just has a picture of Gadget.
Yeah, just, like, as soon as Gadget comes up, Legacy just immediately starts working on her arm and pulls up this, like, holographic image Gadget. Meet Gadget.
Like, both Sprite whips around to like see the picture, and Calamity, of course, joins them, and they both in unison do like hands to the side of their cheeks and just, oh, look at the layer. It's like, is that a rocket mount?
Yep,
Can you mount a rocket on your dog?
that's Rat's dog. And I mean, I took away the rocket, and she put high-powered boosters, which is like a step below the rocket.
But yes.
Yeah, I
love this woman. Same.
Looks towards Kaya. At least from what you've told me about Rat, she'd probably have some fun making a concert a little bit more chaotic than it was initially. And
I
then
feel
she's
like
not
she's
even
gonna
fully involved in the deep shit yet.
look, but like if we involve Rat, she's gonna find a way to make something explode.
Why?
Like-
Pyrotechnics.
That's why
I'm
she
good
went
at
along
making
with
stuff
Cal.
blow up.
See?
Pyrotechnics. Look, Locke, you've seen the fucking garage. Every time I go there, I gotta fucking stop shit from, ending up causing a fucking oil fire
Hey,
in the
hey,
fucking garage.
you're the one that was asking whether or not we tap her.
Well, yeah, but it's... Yeah, I'll call her. It's just, once she knows,
Well, you
I mean,
told
that's
her
probably not
everything
gonna-
already anyway.
Well, yeah, I could go over, like, the gist of it. And then give her details, because, we were talking about other stuff.
So can let Rat and Cal and Sprite put their heads together on how to cause some shit that's going to keep Tetsuo and the rest of the companies concerned on Gigadeath and for a while afterward.
Speaking of people we've involved in all of this, has anyone talked to Maxine recently?
I mean,
I need to
sent her a
go.
sent her a recipe the other day. That's about it.
I need to go talk to her about some more of the brain shit. However, I am not allowed to go talk to her anymore without Kaya or Marcus's accompaniment.
Why?
Wait, what did you do?
What the fuck did you do?
I did nothing. You two are just useful distractions.
All right. I have to say, I really don't believe you. I want to believe
don't-
you. I love you and appreciate you, but I feel like you must have done something.
I don't.
Last time I went to talk to her, you were there. And
You cut out. I couldn't hear you.
it's like last time I went to talk to her, you were there, sir. And she said she wanted to talk
And?
to you again. Thus, useful distraction.
Why do you need a distraction? I feel like that's an important question here.
Because she gets worked up.
I mean, does she? I mean,
Yes.
I feel like she's
She's
pretty.
pretty hyper.
She gets worked up and like starts like talking about I don't want to do this and freaks out. You distract her like, ooh, shiny cybernetics, man. Or fucking dessert baker woman. And she calms down and you can refocus her. I am learning to speak Maxine.
What's a language?
Yes.
Okay. I don't.
Well, then next. Oh, sorry.
Just Kai was just like, I don't get it, but okay.
But you are figuring out how to speak Bengeti.
I don't think anyone speaks Bengeti, not even him.
Fair, but you are learning how to on the very base level. Same thing, different language.
Kai just turns to Lockhart. I feel like she's the expert here.
Doesn't matter who's the expert, the concept is already established.
From underneath your chin, Legacy, you see two little hands shoot up, and you hear,
I speak Larry.
Yeah, you do.
Was Lockhart trying to interject?
Oh, fuck, I had a comment.
You're discussing needing distractions for worked up Maxine.
Oh, right. Well, regardless of that, well, if you can speak Maxine, then can you get her to convince her to share the information of her, of how she interjects herself into web with Johan?
Wait, are we introducing him?
Oh boy.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't.
Hence why we use the translator.
Fucking
Like
How many of
Legacy.
I am not a translator for Bengeti.
Oh, Maxine.
You're more of like a translator for Maxine and an ambassador for Bengeti.
I feel like if we put the two of them in a room together, all of us need to be there. Cause I mean, he's gonna say some shit.
I feel like they'll either be really good friends or immediately enemies.
And it all depends on, the kind of shit he says right off the bat.
How jealous he gets.
Yeah, well. Yeah, she's a scientist, so you could get jealous.
He literally asked if you've been seeing other scientists. He's very jealous.
Sprite snorts.
I don't really get why, but I mean, we could try to hope he behaves.
I will see if she is open to the idea. I can promise nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta give her a warning, advance warning for new peoples, right?
Well, not even necessarily them meeting, but just her at the very base level being open to the idea of sharing her research. Because, well, you've all been there. It's pretty clear she is has been researching alone for a long time.
Is it really alone if she's got like the fucking, and she like puts a hand to like mime the tentacle grabber thingies?
Considering that I have never seen them able to carry on a conversation with her, yes, and also, even if they were considered to be another person, it is still researching alone. Because they're not researching something adjacent to her.
Oh, fair. So, touch base with Maxine, see what the fuck she's up to, what she's, she'd be willing to share research, possibly think about introducing her and Getty under supervision Like when you like introduce like pets or some shit. I don't know. Read about it online once.
I will say that if push comes to shove and we end up dealing with more dreamer shit, it may be beneficial for them to work together.
Well, yeah, I got one super smart scientist to another. You got super smart scientists working on like the same thing. So
Don't forget the engineer with a doctorate in the mix as well.
for a second, Kaya, there's that like little furrow of the brow of confusion of like, wait, there's another engineer. Oh, that's me. She like kind of like rubs the back of her neck a little bit. She's like, yeah, the that one too.
Yeah, those two will need a babysitter. Bad attempt at a joke.
Kaya just snorts. She's like,
Hmm.
look, if I'm babysitting, so are you. I'm not doing that shit alone.
I don't have anything to add to that.
You speak Getty, remember?
Yes, and you speak technobabble.
Yeah, but you're a good listener.
I speak technobabble. Sorta.
You're good at faking technobabble.
And blowing up technobabble.
I have a feeling she shouldn't be a babysitter. Like, because of that statement, and also, like, everything else.
I mean, what is a good... Like, all good labs have an explosion every now and then.
See?
No!
Yes.
No, what the... No. There are so many fucking protocols in place to prevent explosions. And when they do happen, there's fucking studies and shit to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Which is why all good labs have explosions, because you don't get the protocols without there being an explosion in the first place. And
So a
dreamers
meeting
are
at
completely
Maxine's.
new.
What'd you say, Locke?
So
Fucking
we're
fuck
meeting at Maxine's then.
Meeting? Well, let's call her.
Yeah, talk to her first, because I feel like she'd freak out if we just showed up.
She has not been bullied as much as we have bullied Bengetti into accepting our presence. And to be frank, those giant mechanical arms of hers still make me just a little nervous.
Why?
Have you looked at the size of them and the size of me at any point?
Well, yeah, but I mean, they've got to be, approximately, what? Each of them have to be approximately 2/3 of her height in order to support her weight, not to mention being able to reach shit. So they got to be extendable, and in order to have the joints interlock, in order to collapse, they've got to, have enough bulk to them.
Which
So,
is
like, that's
all
like the minimum
supporting
size.
the fact that if she decides to get pissed off, I am the easiest to crush out of everybody here.
What do you... No? You
Yes.
got Marcus with you.
Congratulations, Marcus. You are a living shield now, according to Kaya. Not even
Well,
me.
In her defense, I feel like you probably would have hid behind me if something like that would have happened. Which is
Well-
normal. I think that's totally fair for you.
Yeah, I mean, you used to do it to me.
Do you hide behind Kai?
Which you used to.
I sick Kaya on people at bars.
What the fuck do you mean you sick me on people at bars?
Is that what you did when we first met?
Kinda.
What?
Just a little bit.
What the fuck do you mean a little bit? I sat there and played a game on my phone while you were talking.
Look, you are twice my size, Marcus. You gotta be careful.
What the fuck?
I didn't know that you were actually nice.
Wait, you use me?
You're very effective, Kaya. Thank you.
What? We're talking about this later.
No, we're not, because you don't realize when I do it.
Which is why we gotta fucking talk about it. And guess what? Fucking live together. Can't avoid me.
The I know where you sleep defense.
You just remember, you want to lecture me, lecturing back is fair play.
Fucking.
That's a
Fuck
crit.
off.
Just-
Larry didn't
What?
say that at someone, he just kind of said that out loud to the room.
He heard the word lecture, and it's just word association now.
True.
And
That's
Kaya
exactly
just
it.
immediately just head fucking snaps to Lockhart. Like, you caused this.
Lockhart wasn't paying attention. She was thinking about something.
Was she?
Yeah.
Was she really?
Yeah, yes, actually.
Okay.
I was putting some things together in my head. So I'm like, so she wasn't paying attention to like the last couple minutes of argument between the roommates. And she kind of hears Kaya speak to her. She's like, what did I do?
New word association.
What? Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Legacy just giving Larry very satisfied pats on the head.
Did you not hear that?
No, I was thinking.
What were you thinking about?
A bit about the dreamers.
Anything
Nice.
new?
He pauses, and she's zoned back into Lockhart now.
Well, I was just wondering. Whatever Maxine connected with at Turing Lab, I'm wondering if there's something similar at the HQ. And what sending you through the full dive would mean, if that is the case.
I think that would depend on, well, kind of what the dreamer is, or who it is. I don't think all of them are as entangled as others are.
That's not necessarily a good thing.
Well, I guess if there's one still there, in the lab that is, that's something to consider if we decide to go there. And we could maybe try to find it? Maybe?
Possibly, though. Let's leave the hypotheticals about the lab for later. We have more than enough problems to deal with here and now.
Yeah. Especially with the full dive and complications about it.
Witness might also have more information on that too.
If we can figure figure out how to navigate Witness.
Big fucking F. Especially considering it's probably not going to be the same one we talked to the first time.
Hmm.
But, all that said, that's worries for later. Not for now. We just thinking, what's the saying? One step at a time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one step at a time. Just put one foot in front of the other.
Yep. And in order, step one, figure out what players we're going to have access to on the field.
And for Marcus to start dropping some names and getting a few ideas of where things are.
If you could get any information on what's on the second sub-level, that would also help. See if it's even worth going to.
I'll see if I can. Probably won't be too hard. Probably.
Probably.
And all that being said, hell, don't. If you think that saying something or doing something's going to paint too big of a target on your back right now, just don't.
Don't worry about me doing that. I am a professional at wanting to lie low and not be noticed.
That is a
Just
very
need-
useful skill right now, but we're gonna have to work on your confidence.
I've been working on my confidence.
And your lying capabilities.
I have I been lying? I mean, I have been better at full deceit.
Well, you know, the absolute best ways you can lie is just not talking.
He opens his mouth and then does the aha gesture and then closes his mouth.
But we're gonna see work on your confidence because you, sir, should have been more confident at work. We'll have that discussion personally. We don't have to have that discussion here.
He makes a face of indeterminate confusion. And then from the side of the room, you hear from over top of you, Lockhart. No, leave. You're done. Get out. Please.
There we go. There's the please.
He regards you.
Don't give me that look. You like us as much as you don't like people.
He makes a distaste, like a face of showing distaste, but there is a more palpable sense of like levity to it.
If I have to bribe you with booze again, is vodka still good, or do I need to get something else?
A mixer would be nice, like you did.
Cool.
And he looks at you, Lockhart, and he reaches into his pocket and pulls out two things: a bottle of painkillers and an air hypo.
Yay. Thank you for your assistance, Doctor.
Don't tear out all your stitches. You're welcome.
I'll be sure not to.
Unless she starts
Yeah,
another
'cause-
gang fight.
No, she's not gonna be starting the gang fight because you're not going anywhere.
Regardless of if you were going to tell me to or not, I was going to spend the next few days sleeping. I think I deserve it.
Yeah, you do. But like, are you gonna actually stick to it, or
I think that depends on if Big Getty decides to blow up his apartment.
I mean, if he needs help blowing shit up, I can volunteer. I'm really good at blowing shit up.
Please don't bring her over to your homes.
please don't? Like, really?
Just give me
Well-
his, I don't know, like a Twitter handle or something.
I don't know that he actually has any social media.
Phone number?
Maybe. Yes, he does. He texted us. You should be in the group chat.
Adding them to the fucking group chat. Jesus Christ.
Wow, we have a lot of NPCs.
Yep.
They are not all in the group chat, though.
No, they're not all in the group chat.
Right now, the only NPCs in the group chat are Bengetti, Cosmic, and Marcus.
And Veloska was in the group chat, but he left.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you add him to any group chat going forward, it will either be muted instantly or left if he can leave it.
I feel like we only add him if it's like important with the assumption of like, hey, this is the message. And he sees that one message and then he leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you end up with situations like going into this little meeting with Veloska of somebody arrives ahead of time and gives him the warning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. But that
Okay.
will.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you were saying.
Oh, I was just gonna have Kai ask if like is Lockhart staying here or is she going back to Bengetti's? Like,
Above table, she is patched up to a point where she can go wherever she likes. There's, like, you're at effectively 2 wounds right now. If you were already at 2 wounds, you can go to 3 wounds.
I'm currently at 4 wounds, so I'm down to 3, you said?
No, he didn't make you worse. I thought you were worse off.
Yeah, I'm at 4 harm right now.
4 harm.
reverse the system.
2 HP.
Yes.
Huh.
So you gain an extra
HP.
HP.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Cool,
So
cool.
now you're 3-3.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Joe was speaking in Genesis.
Yeah, I'm speaking Genesis.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Okay. Well, I mean, she's all patched up, and Kaya is gonna just fucking stand up, fucking stretch, and probably just fucking ask her. It's like, so where are you going? I could drive you if you're going anywhere.
I'll probably head back to your home.
Cool. Let's go.
You don't have to come with.
Well, like, well, technically, but I mean, can I drive you there? Make sure you're all right.
Legacy, you feel a feverish like tapping on your elbow from Sprite.
Legacy just like is watching this exchange with half boredom because she has had this conversation with Kaya or something close to it before. And also
Mhm.
like a little bit of that like, okay, they're talking about getting in a car again and I'm already been kept out of the loop because they got in a car together last time. And she feels the tapping. And she looks down at Sprite's hand. Not at Sprite, at Sprite's hand. And just catches it and, like, holds it.
Sprite looks at, like, kind of blinks, kind of confused, and then closes their hand over your fingers, and then gives you, like, the bedroom eyes look. raises their eyebrows at you.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck was that?
Alien.
The washing machine is
Wonder?
coming to eat Amy.
It's the bathroom fan. It's screaming.
How did you fix it?
I didn't fix it.
You
I just
broke it.
turned it on and it stopped doing that. Look at the draw. Part of the card.
Stop
Anyway,
turning it
back to-
off.
Fucking-
Why would you do that?
I didn't
You broke it.
break it.
You broke it.
Oh my god. Anyway, back to the game.
Amy, why would you break it?
Oh, turn it off. Okay. Oh my god, stop! I'm trying to play my game. Stop!
Appropriate sound bites for the end of the session. We always have to devolve into
Okay.
chaos in this Scarpy.
Okay. Okay.
Engineer.
Engineer. Okay. Engineer boy fixed it. Sorry, what was Spray doing? She's
She's
being shit.
yeah,
being
she's,
shit?
she's being
Okay.
a little shit to Legacy, and Legacy is taking it in stride at this point.
Hell
True.
yeah. Well, what does Lockhart say?
Oh, Lockhart looks at Kaya, just kind of rolls her eyes a bit. Fine,
Slightly
do
nervous,
whatever
Kaya.
Do whatever you want. She kind of like sits up slowly, winces, grabs her keys, and tosses them to Kaya.
Catches the keys and perks up. She was a little nervous before, but she visibly like perks up as she just like spins the keys by the key ring on her finger before turning to Legacy, where she's got Larry. It's like, cool. So I'm gonna take Locke over to Getty's. We can meet you back home.
It's like blinks at her and looks around and then looks back. I mean, yeah, probably.
Probably.
Do you realize how many options for a bed I have tonight?
No. I don't keep
Gestures
track of that.
broadly to the other 3 people she is around.
Oh. Okay, well. Shit.
That works out perfectly then.
How does it work out?
You can just stay at your homes. It's late anyways.
I don't know who Johan is, but we should all just go to his house.
No, we're not
No.
doing that.
Why not?
Just lifts an arm, wraps it around Sprite, and then slaps her hand over Sprite's mouth.
What does Sprite say? What does Sprite almost say?
Yeah.
Why not? They're
Um,
invited too.
he's like, yeah, no. Absolutely fucking what?
Muffled
Lockhart.
protests.
Lockhart at the same time said no.
Yeah, both of them are just immediately, no. Like, okay, cool, so if you'll let me stay, sure. Larry, are you coming with us, or do you want to hang out with Legs?
He holds his hands up and then, like, he has been doing the kind of holds his hands up in a cheery sort of way, and then stretches his hands towards you and does grabby hands.
Aww.
Aw.
Legacy lets him go.
Zoom.
He's zooming.
You zoom. And Kai's gonna catch.
Favorite
With her,
aunt
like, forehead
until
hand.
mom leaves the room.
And Kai's gonna pat Larry's head. Alright, cool. We'll buck you up. Should I,
And
like, make a thing for him?
If you fuck with Larry, just because he's learned a word of the day, I am going to break so much shit in your room and you're not going to realize it's broken.
What the fuck are you talking about? I was more so talking like, should I make like a car adapter for him so that he's not just like strapped against a seat? He has something to like, I don't know, steady himself onto. Something that like, I don't know, hooks into him.
some sort of charging station.
Yeah. And it'll also be more secure because, I mean, a seatbelt is made for like, you know, humanoid shape. It's not really made for Larry shape. So this would be safer because it'd be made for him. And then I could actually probably put it into the chassis itself.
And there
Oh.
she goes.
No, I'm just saying I could have
There
the
she
seatbelt
goes.
hook into it so that once he's connected to the thing, and the thing connected to the seatbelt, it's more
Lockhart,
secure.
you should escort her out.
I'm second guessing if I want to leave now.
You don't get a choice.
You want to leave. Go.
Yeah, you don't get a choice. You're already committed to it.
Lockhart gets up and starts moving towards the door.
Ah!
Let's get out of here.
Just get this
Cool.
like little finger wave. Bye.
You get that finger wave from Legacy and Sprite and Calamity.
And Calamity.
All of them looking like eerily the same.
Yeah, and Marcus like waves normally, just like waves his hand back and forth and looks incredibly nervous.
Alright, she'll, Kyle will just fall off the Lockhart, give Veloska a nod. I don't know, give like a little wave to the three fucking gremlins.
Leaving Marcus solely reliant on the safety of Legacy's affection.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Kaya, as she
No.
passes by, Marcus is gonna like hold out like, I don't know, like a little fist for like a fist bump.
To Marcus?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll throw a fist bump out.
Yeah. She's gonna just like, cool, see ya. Good luck.
What? He was gonna say with what, but the words died in his mouth.
She pats him on the shoulder.
Don't forget your cardio tomorrow.
I'll see if I can negotiate for you.
You know, if it'll help you, you can just jog with me. I'll probably lap you, not gonna lie. But
It might help. It might be encouraging. Maybe I'll go faster. Maybe.
Lockhart has seen Legacy run before in the brief moment, and she just looks at Legacy and looks at Marcus and just like it kind of sparks a little bit.
that's true. Marcus has never seen her just bolt.
Yep.
Nope, he hasn't. And Kaya just fucking snorts, pats him on the back. She's like, yeah, good luck.
What?
Nothing.
Hey. I
No
am
need
not
it.
going to be that mean.
No, he should. He needs the lesson.
I feel like you should, ease up a little bit, Locke.
Am I missing something that's happening?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Aren't you two supposed to be leaving?
Out the door.
Alright. See you before she, starts walking down the block.
She says, good luck leaving you with me. She needs luck with that one.
They walk out the door, and you say that Sprite leans back on their elbow and just goes, "She does not need any luck, 'cause she's doing fine."
Why are you so
doing
obsessed
fine
with
with-
fucking
what?
the two of them together?
Because they're so weird, and a nice way.
It's like blinks at her, and when Marcus is confused and will turn and look at Marcus, she thinks the two of them are either sleeping together or going to be sleeping together.
Lockhart and Kai?
Yes.
I don't want to be discouraging, but I don't see that happening. Sprite just shakes their head just because y'all don't know. You don't see what is right in front of you. It's so obvious.
Legacy just there's the very clear expression of she wants to say so many things, but also knows Sprite well enough to know that saying any of those things is going to make the situation worse. And so she just kind of shakes her head slightly. Oh, you are a bad influence.
They look over to you and do a very, very overly dramatic pouty face and just go, "And?"
And that's the entire reason I hang out with you, I know. Just gives Sprite a little pat and stands up, kind of looking over the group, and will start corralling the remaining three out of Veloska's hair.
Veloska will give you a very, very deadpan look and a single wave.
She'll be the last one out, just kind of call over her shoulder. We'll see you again in a week with another gunshot wound, I'm assuming.
No.
When has your luck ever been that lucky?
Just,
And scene.
That was fun.
Great planning session.